the man himself, Carl Jha. Carl, man, how you doing this morning? You doing okay?
How are you?
I'm
I'm
doing
doing
okay. Well,
good.
it's not morning for us. I mean, it's evening for us.
Yeah.
But do
By the way,
it. Carl,
welcome to my neighborhood. Welcome to
well,
my
I
neck of
appreciate
woods.
that. I appreciate that. I've been here, what, for the last month, I think. I'm going to be here till August. So, yeah, after which I will be going to probably Indonesia. So we will definitely be in the same neighborhood at that point. Carl Jha is host of Silk and Steel podcast focused on China and surrounding regions and their history, culture, and politics. You can follow Carl on Twitter at Carl Jha. You can follow his podcast on Twitter at Steel Silk, letter N. And you can subscribe and support the podcast on patreon.com/silk and steel. I want to get that in first because I don't, just in case somebody doesn't go to the end of the interview. I'm assuming everybody does go to the end of the interview, even though I know that's not true. How you doing, man? You doing all right this morning? Well, today, I about to say this morning again. You doing all right today? So far, so good?
I'm doing good. So far, so good. So far.
I brought you on because I am always enamored by the things that Europeans say. It's always funny to me. And it's funny to me because they have no power in the world in regards to hard power at all. They are vassals of the United States and what the United States wants. And yet they would make these bold proclamations and they would even talk down to larger powers that are more technologically sophisticated, educationally sophisticated, and frankly, more politically sophisticated. And I'm speaking about, in this case, China. And it's as if they think China are idiots or Chinese are idiots. And what I mean by this is right here. China had to tell the European Union, Wang Yi specifically, China tells the EU it does not want to see Russia lose its war in Ukraine. And the reason is obvious because you are going to turn and come after us. And that is not conjecture on my part because you can see right here. Yeah, right here. Let's pull this one up. The navies of the United Kingdom, France, and Italy are planning to coordinate deployment on their aircraft carriers to the Indo-Pacific. So in one case, they are complaining to China, hey, we don't like the fact that you have dual-use goods going to Russia and that we believe that your support is keeping Russia afloat. And in the other case, but we are trying to create a Pacific NATO in order to go after China. Do they just not see like how these things connect to one another? It's the weirdest thing in the world. Give me your take on this. That's so bizarre to me.
Well, first of all, a lot of the EU leaders today, I'm talking about VDL or Callas, they're all like being groomed from an early age to be part of the Atlanticist. They're grooming the Atlantis institution to be the Washington's voice in Europe, right?
Mhm.
Um, and that's exactly what they are. And also they have maybe because the geographic distance is so far, they seem to think China is still in the 19th century, right? They still think like Europeans can send their gunboats over and make their demands. But I want to correct something. I do believe Callas was intentionally misinterpret what Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi said. According to Callas, she said that Wang Yi told her that China cannot afford to have Russia to lose in the Ukraine war. I highly doubt Wang Yi actually said that because that's very unlike Chinese diplomatic speak. Wang Yi can
Mhm.
be very blunt, but like he
Not that blunt.
lot. It's not that his communication style. What Wang Yi probably said is, um, we don't want Russia to fail, which is a little bit different. I mean, you might think it's the same, but it's a little bit different. Like Wang Yi probably said, we don't want Russia to fail, and Wang Yi probably did say, as quote Callas, that if Russia falls, China will be next on the target list of the United
Yes.
States. I mean, this is common sense, and Wang Yi also supposedly said that you blame us for providing material support to Russia. If China really really supported Russia, the war would be over already, long time ago. Now that I believe Wang Yi said that because a Chinese diplomat had made that point before. These are all similar statements that Chinese made before. It's like you think you're saying we're supporting Russia's war effort. If we're really wholeheartedly supporting Russia's war effort, we would be talking about Ukraine war right now because it would be long over. You underestimate our capability. And that's another thing. This is China talk about its non-interference policy. A lot of people don't understand what it means, but it also means China can maintain normal relationship. China can when China refuse to sanction Russia, China says, well, whatever happened to between Russia and Ukraine, that's their business. We're still going to conduct business with Russia. And by the way, Ukraine, I think it was Ukraine foreign minister went on Twitter to accuse China of providing drone parts to one of the Russia's Shahed drone that was shut down. Right? They even zoom in on like the place where it's produced, Suzhou, China. So I want to make clear, drone parts, both sides of the Ukraine conflict, they source their drone components from China.
Yes.
And he's not complaining the fact that majority of the Ukrainian drones parts also came from China. I mean, like, so some people say, oh, why didn't China like embargo, right? Embargo Ukraine. Look, it's a these are not military grade components. These are the commercial, DJI components. And if unless China places a global ban, there's nothing to stop United States and Europe from purchase those parts from China and turn around and give it to Ukraine. I mean, there's nothing to stop them from doing that. And these are not military grade parts. These are, commercial usage. Any drone people, like those are like DJI parts that China produces. So this is it's kind of ridiculous for EU to, again, this is US. They're just parroting Washington's talking point when it comes to China. It's like, why don't you help us crush Russia so we can crush you next? So we can pivot our resources to Asia to confront China next. I mean, come on. Yeah, China is not stupid. They know how the game is being played. That's why these kind of talks, it's kind of pointless. Like, what if you like a lot of these Western politicians, when they come to China, they do grandstanding. They treat it as a photo ops. They are speaking this not for the Chinese audience per se. They're speaking to their own press. Like, okay, we're taking a stand. We're really being tough on China, right? But the Chinese diplomats probably baffled. It's like, why are you wasting my time? why are you wasting my time? Why are you trying to lecture us like we're children? So this is going to go nowhere, and this is happening right on the eve of the EU-China talks that was going to take place later this month, which doesn't bode well because VDL also just gave another speech in front of the European Parliament, again talking about how EU need to de-risk from China. Then why are you going to China then? Why just keep on sucking up to the United States, who's going to slap you with the 30%, 25% tariff, and right now they're crying about how they're being treated unfairly by Trump, by United States. At the same time, they're sending their navy to South China Sea to do a U.S. bidding. And by the way, those navies are for show. Everybody understood they're not going to do anything. They don't have capability to do anything because the UK aircraft carrier has spent majority of its time in the docks for repair and maintenance. And the reason now they're talking about sending these European ships over to China because recently U.S. has deployed its 3 aircraft carrier group to Middle East. So United States needs some show of flag here in East Asia. It's like, okay, how about your ships are not doing anything in the Atlantic. Let me borrow them and put them in Pacific, right? That's what's really going on. But this is all very childish, very ridiculous.
It is. It's silly. It's just silly. I don't know what else to call it. And you're right. It's for public consumption. I guess I'm always shocked that the European audience also consumes it. Like when I hear European leader, when I hear Ursula von der Leyen, you made a statement today that was one of the most prescient is not the right word for it. Intuitive, on point comments that I've heard all day. And you said, what does Ursula von der Leyen do? And I said, he is so right. I don't know. I don't even know if she knows. Like, meaning you see her talk all the time. And there's going to be this kind of huge corruption scandal and everything else. But when you said, I was like, he's right. I have no idea what her job description or title is. I just see her making speeches all the time that are just nonsense, that are forgotten.
Literally, her only job is to regurgitate Washington's line at EU. And people need to remember, von der Leyen was not elected by the broad European electorate. She was elected by the 40 MPs of European Parliament, right? So she was elected by 40 people. Like the majority of the European citizens of EU had no say in the election of von der Leyen. So there's no way she even represent them. And the problem with a lot of these propaganda is they repeat those propaganda and recycle them so much, they start to believe, they start to invite their own propaganda. This is why they sound so ridiculous when they talk about China, Russia, and geopolitics. Like, what are you guys talking about, man?
Yeah, don't get high on your own supply. I mean, that was, rap history of sorts. Apparently they never got that lesson. So they are supposed to have a meeting coming up. Do you think anything is going to come out of that meeting? I mean, early on when the United States was passing the tariffs, they seemed eager to have the conversation with China.
Yeah.
Well, nothing has really changed with the tariff thing. And yet they're still out here popping off at China.
Well, Trump put the 90-day pause, remember? And I'm pretty sure he's gonna put another 90-day pause, like his TikTok ban. Remember, like
he already did, by the way. He already did.
He put a 90-day pause on the TikTok ban. Then he extended for another 90 days, and I'm sure he's gonna extend another 90 days. Taco is. We can always count on Taco Tuesday, right? So European. I think in the beginning they were panicking a little bit, when Trump started slapping the tariff. That's why they go to China, and now they saw Taco start doing this 90-day extension. They're like, oh, phew, okay, he's just he's just kidding. Like, there's less urgency than to make up with China. I think that's what's going on in the background.
Basically, they don't believe Trump. And because they don't believe Trump, the urgency to get with China has become less. So now they can pop off. China, they can talk trash now. Oh, that is so pathetic. That is so pathetic. And by the way, he did extend them. He's extended out to August? Apparently, like only 3 countries met with Trump. 2 were frameworks, but no deals were made. And so Trump had to send out letters, which is so pathetic. It's like, I'm demanding you make a deal with me, and nobody makes a deal with you. And then so you send out a letter, a strongly worded letter, saying, hey, you should make a deal with me or else. So it's like, okay, dude, are you serious right now? You're supposed to be the president of the US.